What is up, everybody? This is going to be one of the most important videos you're going to watch on this channel, which I will be referencing multiple times in the future. I had a subscriber ask me, can you make a video about embracing the daily grind in trading? To me, it sounds like this specific trader has a hard time embracing the grind. Maybe there's a lack of motivation. And typically, when you're not motivated to do something, you think that's an issue with yourself. Well, guess what? I've learned something really fascinating. It just might not be your MO, which stands for modus operandi. I probably said that wrong. See, the thing about your MO, it's the way you actually operate in the world without any restrictions, how you freely tackle tasks. And I used to complain about people that complained about me having too long of a video. Hey, just get to the fucking point. I don't need to hear all this fluff. That's what I would see in the comments section. And my argument was always, you just can't focus. You need to learn how to pay attention. Trading takes a long time to get good at. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay? Now, before we get into figuring out what your MO is, because I'm somebody who suffers from lack of motivation or procrastination, and if that sounds like a similar situation to yours, because I haven't always embraced the trading work, the grind, if you will, then this video is going to be very interesting because I'm going to share with you my MO as I took a test and it gave me some results, which happen to be these four numbers. This is my MO. Now, before we get into that, let me share a little story. So I'm sitting there watching the Sean Ryan podcast on my phone, and there was a Navy SEAL who is a serial entrepreneur. And this Navy SEAL is sharing a bunch of information about how important effective communication is. And then he starts to go on about this thing called the Colby Index A, which is a test. Those scores I just showed you, that is my Colby Index A results. Anyways, this Navy SEAL is going on about how he ended up giving this test to all of his employees, and it boosted the productivity of his companies substantially. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit, this sounds interesting. Because if you're not aware, I have started a prop firm. This episode right here, it's called The Fastest Way to Consistency. It is in the description in playlist format. I'm sharing my prop firm journey, so if you want to know what it's like and to build a prop firm from nothing, from the ground up, you can watch that playlist. This is actually one of the episodes in that playlist. That's how important this episode is, because I'm going to talk about another one of my traders. I've also been writing about my prop firm journey on x.com. My handle is @realfatcat1. So if you enjoy reading stuff, I like writing, there's some good stuff there. Also, if you're unaware, I've also started a business for a trading software, a journal software. I have 2 employees at this point, the developer, and then I hired a contractor this month to help me with all this stuff. So trying to figure out their MO is really important for me, as well as my traders. I'm going to plug my software, tradecraft.club, link in the description. This is my personal journal. You can customize it however you want. You can move these widgets wherever you want. You can make pie charts, volume histograms. We also have a book of charts we just created, so that way you can look at stuff. We also have the recordings, so you can watch your trades. You can put them in your playbook. Book of charts is still a work in progress at this point. However, it's this sweet widget you can plug in to your journal. It is primarily a tagging software, so you can quickly select the tags of each of your trades and go through them. And what's interesting is the way this is all designed is actually based off my MO, which part of my MO is I need shortcuts. I need things to be done quickly. And that's how this journal is being designed. Try it out for a week. It's free. It's a great way to support the channel, and more importantly, to support your own trading. So with that being said, I'm like, I could use this on my traders. and the people that work with me, right? This will be great. I can effectively communicate with them better. And as this Navy SEAL began to talk about his employees, he said, you know, there's certain people that require a lot of details. And that's someone like me. They require a lot of specifics. And then there's other people who just need the bullet points. They need things simplified. And if you're outside of your MO, you're not going to work as effectively as you possibly could. Which this is going to get a lot more interesting as we continue to unpack it. Now, this specific Navy SEAL entrepreneur guy, he said for him, a big part of his MO is deadlines and racing the clock. He always brainstorms all these ideas and shit. It could be hard for him to like start a task. However, if he races the clock and really starts time blocking himself, he performs substantially better, which is extremely interesting. And he said that, you know, when he used to teach other Navy SEALs in training, he wished he would have known this stuff because he would have had more guys passing. And the thing is, according to him, he thought there was one way of teaching, one way of sharing, and if people didn't get it, then they didn't get it. And that really resonated with me because I have a trader who I have a really hard time communicating with. Now, at this point, I haven't had him take the test yet. However, I feel like every time I would explain stuff to him, he just didn't get it. And then he would tell other traders he didn't get it, he didn't get it, he didn't understand it. And this trader has a lot of experience, a lot more experience than me. He's been a consistent trader in the past for years on end, and he lost his touch. I know he has talent, he didn't understand what I was trying to convey to him. And I thought about giving up on this trader, which I feel like with this specific journey, I can get anybody consistent. Well, not anybody, but I feel like I can have a higher turnaround than what the industry deems normal. Whether that manifests or not, you guys are here for the journey, so you'll see it happen or not. I do believe I can do it. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna look up this test. So I look up this Colby Index A. I start doing some research on it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take the test. I want to see what my MO is because I want to see how I best operate. Now, what I want to do is share that with you and start breaking this down. So you take this 36 question test, and it's a test that's you can't really cheat on, according to that Navy SEAL guy. The questions on the test, and by the way, this test costs $55. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, like the Colby people, because I really like it, and I'm buying a bunch of these things for my employees and shit. So personally, I want to know if I can get a discount, but they do offer an affiliate program. So I'm not sure if I'm an affiliate or not. I'm sure they will say yes. So if you are really interested in this, check back, link in the description to go through my affiliate thing because this is really cool. So you take this 36 question test and it's ask you 4 questions and you pick 2 answers. What am I doing the most and what am I doing the least of? That's it. For example, here's the first question. If free to be myself, I would, because you want to answer this if you're free to be yourself from that perspective. If I were solving a difficult problem, I would rely on my skill, research, ability to structure, experimentation. The most, so for me, it might be research, and the least would be the ability to structure. And then it continues to ask you questions. If I believe in something important could be maintained to help humanity, I would build it, promote it, design it, and what would I do the least of? You pay for the test and it gives you all this documentation and it gives you these scores. Now, these things can go all the way down to 10. There is no bad score. This is again the way you operate. There are 3 columns. You have fact finder. So this is like the cognitive part of your brain. It is how you're processing information. You have follow through. You have quick start, which quick start is actually interesting because this has to do with taking risk. If you're further down here, you're more risk seeking. And if you're way up here, you're more likely to not take risk. And this is interesting because this can be translated to your style of trading. An implementer is also interesting. It's the way you use tools or don't use tools. Up here is like imagination. And as you go down here, it's more like building things and having concrete stuff in front of you. So it gives you a little quote. This is my personal one. This is the best way to explain who I am. I have an uncanny talent for coming up with unique strategies, prioritizing opportunities, and dealing with the unknowns and complex problems. I thrive when I quantify an opportunity and prospecting for ways to enhance it. That might not mean shit for most of you. So let's get into this thing. Let's look at this first one, which I'm a 7 right here. It's called Fact Finder. The way we gather and share information. As you can see, I'm a 7, so I would be in the specify. That's why my videos are so long, so detail-oriented. That's why they seem to be really drug out. And the people that really enjoy my channel are most likely in the specify category, or they could be in the explainer category. The people who tell me to get to the point, your videos are too long, they're going to be in the simplify. Now, that doesn't mean that's bad. However, this just happens to be where I operate. Next, we have follow through, which I scored a 3 right here. How we organize and design. Well, on this end, I'm an adapter. I'm flexible. I vary the approach. I create shortcuts. Like if I don't have things within reach or simple, or like I have a bunch of hotkeys. Like I have a shitload of macro pads with hotkeys. If I'm going to drink water during the trading session, I need to have my water jug next to me. So I have to have it next to me or I won't drink water. I have a clipboard magnetized to the wall so I can take notes because I have a whiteboard that's maybe 8 feet that way and I never write on it or use it. It's too far away. It's not within reach. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, you have people who systematize shit, organize, design plans, provide systems, bring things to closure. Now, there is a diagram in here on procrastination, which is interesting, and I'll get to that later in this video. Now, if you're in the middle, you're sort of swinging between systematic approaches and just being very flexible. Whereas the people in the systematic section, if plans are changing, it just fucks with them. Next, you have quick start. I'm a 6 here, so I'm in the modify. So it's how we deal with risk and uncertainty. This has a lot to do with trading. So if you're a 1 through 3, you're in the stabilize. You minimize chaos and risk. You control the options. You protect what's working. These are great for risk managers. So when it comes to my prop firm, I have a risk manager. I want to have them be up in this section most likely. They could be in the modify section, which is okay for me. But I don't want a risk manager down here because they try things, they experiment, driven by deadlines, brainstorm ideas. What this doesn't say, because I did a lot of research in depth, that's me, on all of this shit, because I need to know. This is also risk seeking. If you're in the middle, which I am, I'm a 6, so I'm on the cusp of more risk seeking, and I'll hang with the people who are taking risks, but whereas they'll jump off the cliff, I'll take a step back and go, whoa, wait a second. We need to look at this. This could explain why some of you might be blowing up combines and shit or over trading. I think over traders might be closer to the lower end of the spectrum where under traders who just are too scared to take a trade might be up here. Finally, we have implementer. So you have envision. This is like imagination. You can envision the solution, stuff like that. But when it comes to like building it, you can't really do that. Whereas the people down here, they build. They're builders. Typically people down here are good app developers. People in the specify category, which is where I reside, usually those are specialists, which is interesting because that's what I do. I specialize in the ESE minis. I'm in the restore category. I'm on a 4. So if you take this test and all your scores are all in the middle, all your scores are like 4, 5s, or 6s, that means you're a facilitator. You kind of ride the balance of it. Some people are on the extremes. Like I'm on an extreme spectrum here and here. So what you got to understand this is also units of focus when it comes to doing a task. 7 is obviously the biggest thing for me, followed by 6, 4, then 3. So when it comes to follow through, I'm like just shit at it. I spend a lot of time gathering information. Then I go to the quick start, the implementer phase, and then follow through, which I don't have many points in, so I don't have much units of focus in it. Hence the reason I need things like shortcuts or to be simplified. So we're going to kind of break every one of these down. So we're going to look at the first one, which I'm at 7. So these are my do's and don'ts. I need to be precise. Now think of it like trading. When it comes to taking a trade, I need to be precise about what I'm going to do. Those of you who've watched the channel for a while, I'm very precise when I explain shit. I need precision entries, rating probabilities. So if we look at the Tradecraft journal, I literally had this tab built in called Calculate Stats, and it gives you the probabilities of your tags. 73% win rate. I've made almost 20 G's on this 3 tag combo, which is interesting because this was made months ago. Correct errors, which is also interesting. So I have a section called monthly performance. What I want to do is I want to get like this red bar lower and lower to where it's almost non-existent month after month. When I review my trades, I'm always trying to correct the problems. Define differences, knowing the difference. This is interesting because some of you guys ask me questions like, hey, what do I do in this situation? And I can't really give you an answer. I'm always like, well, it depends. So I have to define the differences. Question frequently and thoroughly. So when I'm in a trade, I'm looking for precision entries. I'm trying to figure out the probabilities of how the trade is going to work. If I make a fuck up, I try to bankroll out of it. I have a video called Bankroll Management that will be in the link in the description below, which is interesting. Bankroll management's so big for me, and that's how I manage trades. And that is fucking interesting. That correcting errors is huge for me when I'm trading and managing. Defining the differences. What's the difference between this reclaim and that reclaim? Question frequently and thoroughly. So just always wanting to know what the narrative is. So what I don't want to do, I don't want to generalize, make snap judgments, give yes, no answers, answer off the top of my head, decide without prioritizing reasons. I must prioritize. These are things I should not be doing. If I don't, I'm outside of my MO. So the next thing is this green one. So I'm going to scroll down here real quick and you can see this arrow. So I'm 35% fact finder, 30% quick start, 20% implementer, and 15% follow through. It goes again from the biggest score to the smallest. This is your MO. It's called your cognitive. It's not cognitive, it's cognitive. It's how you do things. And this has to do with like ancient philosophers like Plato and that. They came up with this theory, which this test apparently leverages. You'll start the problem solving process by fact checking and determining practical and appropriate priorities. Think of it from trading. Next, I adjust to changes, which we're about to get into. Then you check the strength and durability of available materials. Finally, fat cat, you look for several alternate routes. Okay. So when it comes to this, I'm in a 6. So again, risk seeking. More risk seeking. However, this is more than that. I can respond quickly to challenges. So if I'm fighting with a trade or what I think is happening shifts, like the circumstance shifts, like the narrative, the price action changes, the expected value changes, I'm able to respond quickly to that challenge. Anybody that's really watched my trading, you'll see. You can always check out all my recorded trading sessions here at Coffee. I narrate and review everything. And now have sessions where I'm coaching one of my traders and you can hear him and I talking live during the session. Today he had 100% win rate, which is fucking awesome. I would say it was a pretty intense stream as far as like, we both had 100% win rates and it was just a good episode. Making adjustments on the fly. Things are changing. Maybe this trade is good, then it doesn't look good, so I need to just cut it right then and there. Able to do that. Handle last minute changes. This has a lot to do with the way I trade. Seek alternatives. Maybe this trade isn't working. Maybe I need to wait for the price action to set up a different way, and then I can do it. And then I mediate risk. Bankroll, try to pay for my losses. So what I should not be doing is changing for the sake of changing, creating uncertainty, which is interesting. In my journal, this is clear trading right here in the green. And this is when I'm confused or not certain. Notice how bad my performance is. So I need to be clear, which I have a tag on. That's very interesting. Leap into many major changes at once. Take on too many competing deadlines. Try to get consensus on innovation. Again, this can be applied in many different analogies. Next, we have this. I'm a 4. So I'm kind of in the middle. I mediate in this one. Same with the green one. So when you read this, it might not make sense. Protect what has been built, restore functionality, maintain tangible quality, use tools well, fix things that break. So when it comes to trading, using tools well, really drawing stuff, really drawing on the chart, marking up the chart. The further you are down on this, the more you're going to want to be marking up on the chart. If you're way up here, you can envision, you can see stuff. You don't need to do that. You don't need as many technical indicators versus somebody down here that needs access to more tools. Use lousy equipment, commit to build something that won't break, be literal about a solution, present the information without props or photos, which is interesting because every time I struggle to make a video, I feel like I need to do a lot more research and I need to put together some form of a presentation, which that's what this is. Draw conclusions without a walkthrough. Finally, we have this one. Again, these are systematic people building systems, really following through. This is people who just don't follow through. So I need to find shortcuts. I have a bunch of shortcut keys, all that. What's the path of least resistance? And that actually is in my trading. Keep what you use easy to see and reach. Like I said, I got this clipboard on magnets. It's not a clipboard, it's a whiteboard. Put it on the wall. Try random approaches, which I do. Like if I'm having problems in a specific market regime, I will adjust my approach. Actively pursue multiple projects, so I can do that. People who are ranking up here, you thrive on interruptions and deal with tasks as they arise. So the moment I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this, I should just do it right now. So what I should not do is succumb to rigid routines, be overly scheduled, adhere to redundant systems, repeat patterns, stick with step-by-step procedures. Very discretionary in my trading. So these are your units of energy. Once you tap this out, you're done. So it says, I lead with background information, making sure it helps promote future possibilities. You are also a fact finder strength to justify the quick start need for urgency. This sets you up using all your cognitive strengths to make unconventional yet practical decisions. That may sound gibberish to you. So what this really means is the way I work, the way I get things done, I always felt like I need to sit down, have a rigid routine, finish a project all the way till the end, wake up at exactly the same time, trade at exactly the same time, take a shit at exactly the same time. That is not my MO. That would mean I would have more blue, which I don't. So what I've been doing is I'll have urges. Like I was watching a bunch of tutorial videos on this last night to put together this presentation while building this thing out in Obsidian, by the way, which is this app I'm using. And there'd be times where I just stand up and I see like some clothes on the floor and I would just pick them up. And then I go sit on the toilet and the toilet seat is loose. And I'm like, oh, I need to fix it. And in this yellow section, it says, you know, I fix things and use the appropriate tools. So I go get a screwdriver and I immediately fix it. And then I fill up my water because I need water next to me always. So I start doing little tasks. I start prioritizing. So if we go up to the red, decide without prioritizing reasons. So the way I work is just completely unconventional. Like things will just pop up and I'm like, I feel like I need to do this right now. And if I don't do it right in the moment, it'll never get done. In fact, one of my previous videos, I say, hey, I have all these video ideas that just never get done because I don't do them in the moment. That was before I took this test. And that's because if we go down here, I need to deal with tasks as they arise because rigidity does not work for me. When it comes to just like doing shit, it seems so weird and out of the normal. I'll think about it and then I'm like, oh, I should do this and that. And then the task arises Again, I'm a quick starter, so I'm pretty quick to start something, but the follow through is shit. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do things as soon as I feel like they need to be done. As soon as I'm hit with this burning desire of, hey, I should go do this, I'm going to go do it. And I was so fucking productive yesterday and today. It's quite amazing. Again, I thrive on interruptions. That's what the blue is. As they dealing with tasks as they arise. Now, as far as procrastination goes, I'm an extreme here and here. So if I'm an extreme here, how I deal with procrastination, what are the pros and cons? What are the known facts? Where can I go for expertise? What's the top priority? Is this specific enough? Like, if I'm going to do this activity, this task, is it specific enough? What does research show? How can I build on what's worked in the past? So for me, things like designing shortcuts or routines that I know work really well for me. Now, I think my procrastination really is this one. Can I make this less cumbersome? Can I try coming at it a different way? What can I skip and still get it done? Is there a point where I can move on and leave the rest to someone else? Can I do part of this and come back to it? This is huge for me. Doing like a little bit of it, and then I'm like, all right, I'm burnt out, I'm done. And then another task pop up, and I just want to do that. That's okay. Is there a substitute, and can I deviate from the plan? It's okay. Because if I do this, I'm in my MO, and I'm able to be so much more productive. So to answer that original subscriber's question, how do you embrace the grind doing the journal? What's your MO? How can you work the process of doing trading work and the way you operate if you were free to operate the way you could instead of trying to force yourself into a rigid box? They actually have another test I haven't taken. I think it's the Colby Index B. And this is a test where it gives you results on what you think you should be doing. For example, I'm sure if I took that test, this blue one would be way the fuck down here, like in the 7s or 8s. But that's not how I operate. And we're doing this to ourselves all the time, and you're not even aware of it. And the fact that I need shortcuts, I need shit to be simple, that is why the Tradecraft software is designed the way it is designed. The ability to come in here to easily move tags around, to be able to easily create a new one, no problem, and just use it. This was designed around my MO. Now, going back to what I said earlier, I have a trader who I just felt like I couldn't communicate with. And I've not had him take the test yet. I have had another trader take the test. There's a trader I'm currently working with named Chronic. So this is his current equity curve. We're trying to get funded through the futures desk. I do have an interview with the futures desk. Link in the description if you'd like to check it out. This is my money partner. So he's obviously pretty close to his target. And then he started to tumble. Let me actually filter the date. Within the last 2 weeks, he started to fumble. We'll put on these markers so you can see each of the trades. So, you know, he was at his peak here. We started doing a lot of coaching, and then the last 2 weeks, things got turbulent. And then today we had a 100% win rate, which are these 3 trades here. He can't go beyond a certain profit target. Otherwise, they make the overall target go up, because they want to see consistency. However, we've worked really hard to have a turnaround day. Now, I don't get to work with him every single day because he has a job. However, I always wondered, why does this one specific trader seem to resonate with me? Why do I feel like this guy gets me? Well, you don't want to know why? Here's his Colby results. He's a 7, 2, 5, 6. Here are mine. 7, 3, 6, 4. So we are pretty similar if you really look at it. So his workflow is going to be a little different than mine. So if we come down to this, mine's has the green over here and the yellow over here, where his is just flipped with the yellow on the left and the green on the right. His follow through is a lot shittier than mine. Mine's is a 3, his is a 2. So begin to explain to him all this shit. I'm like, hey man, these are the things you need to do. And I basically explained to him what I explained to you guys. Just do the task as it arises when you feel it needs to be done. And then he's just like, holy shit. He's like, this is how I've been my entire fucking life. And now it makes so much sense. He's like, I try to be so rigid with my training schedule and I could just never do it. Now he's one of the best guys when it comes to actually doing his journal and doing write-ups on his journal. Like when it comes to actually journaling, he writes these beautiful blog posts style of shit. That's initially why I picked him to be on the team. But that's because he's a fact finder like me. He needs a lot of detail and information, and he's just putting it out there. And I figured, you know, maybe all traders need to be doing this level of work. That's not always true, and I should recalibrate the way I view things. Now, the difference with him when it comes to, like, trading, and this is how I coaxed 100% win rate out of him today. I know he's going to thrive on interruptions and having random tasks be thrown at him. So what we ended up doing, and we worked really hard last week, I actually put together this mind map on him of things that work. So what works? Conservative trading. His aggressive trading is fucking shit compared to his conservative trading. So let me actually build, this is his journal. And let me just show you like how fucking bad his aggressive trading is versus conservative. So here's the aggressive tag up here. We'll put that on. There's his equity curve. We'll put on the conservative right here. And then let's just put on a raw equity curve. We'll make it blue or white, sorry. Put on some markers so you can see every trade. Now notice how his conservative trading almost goes straight up versus his aggressive trading. Now this just happens to be on this account. He has many accounts from other props. So let me filter that off so you can see all of the accounts. So yeah, that's huge. Let's take off the markers because there's a lot of trades. This is his overall equity curve, which is extremely flat across all the accounts he's ever traded. Look at his aggressive trading versus conservative. They're so inverse from each other. They almost look like they're inverse correlated. Like this goes down at the same angle attack of this going up. Therefore, he's a break-even trader. And this is why I love the Tradecraft Journal. Because now we fucking know what he needs to do more of in order to be consistent. If he just stops being aggressive, that can make a huge difference. I'm telling you guys, this fucking journal is fucking solid as shit. Like, this is a passion project. And I'm using this thing to show you how I'm gonna make traders better. Or try, okay? All I can do is try. So let's look at my conservative versus aggressive trading. For me, the purple line is the aggressive trading. We'll remove the markers. Put it on white mode so you can see it a little better. Here's aggressive trading. This is when the VIX went above 20, by the way. Conservative just started to take off. We could probably actually remove some of the outlier trades by doing this. So when I was aggressive, I've had a $9,000 win and a $10,000 win. So if you want to see the $10,000 win, there's a video on it, link in the description. So if we remove those outlier trades, and also there, on the aggressive tag, there was a $10,000 loss. So there's 3 outlier trades. Notice how my conservative, now this isn't one trade right here. This is actually several. But notice how conservative trading for me is performing substantially better. Now that wasn't always the case, but look how much more smooth the line is. It's less jagged like the aggressive. You're getting really jagged pullbacks where it's just a lot smoother on conservative trading. Now what's beautiful about our journal is I can go, hey, what was this trade? I can click on it and it'll take me right to it. It's trade 17 on February 26. And I can look at the tags. I can also watch the entry of the trade as well, which it's set to go 5 seconds before there's a short. So I just have not experienced a software like this before. This is why it was made, man. All that other shit is just not like this. Simple shortcuts. I need shortcuts, right? Why not click on the equity curve like you just saw and go straight to the trade? So that has to do with my MO. Shortcuts. I don't want to go digging through this shit to find it. I need shortcuts. So if your MO is like mine as far as follow through, it's shit. Hey, you want to embrace the trader work? This is how you do it. So going back, what works? So visuals on a review session, delta wave, rainstorm, heaves, calm. So what does this mean? So again, I'm putting together a list on chronic. So last week there was a trade that triggered him. So we immediately stopped, which is interesting because this is before the tests. I interrupted him. I said, let's review it now, because that's also my MO. So we look at the trade, and if you go through my videos, it is buried. I will put it in the link in the description, but I can't think of what the hell the video is called. This one right here. How to stop over trading. Back when my hair was short. Holy shit, dude. And I just had a fucking mustache. Now I'm not cutting my hair this year. So what I do in this specific video is what I do with him, where we do this visualization where he puts his eyes up, looks forward, and then I basically put him in a hypnosis. Again, I have a playlist, link in the description, on hypnosis that can fix a lot of problems. And it could actually potentially rewire your MO. Apparently your MOs can change as your identity changes, and you can use hypnosis to change your identity. So we do this thing. I get him really calm. He's in a trance-like state. We're listening to a thunderstorm sound, a delta wave. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, check out the hypnosis playlist and that other video I recommended. And then I have him watch the trade, and then I narrate to him. I'm watching the trade as well. And what's cool about the Tradecraft software is, like, we can quickly find the video file in his journal. So he pulls it up like that. Shortcuts, remember. Because if it's an old video file, we're never going to dig it out. Because our MOs, we're not good at follow through. So I put him in a trance, and he's watching this trade play out that triggered him. And it's a short. And he has a bad habit of trying to catch knives. And then I keep telling him positive stuff. You're calm, you're content, you're doing the right thing in this moment. I'm making it as though he's reliving that situation, and he didn't take the stop out he took in that situation. I tell him not to look at the DOM, look at just the price action, pretend like it's not phasing you, real trance-like talk. And then after 3 watches, I say, let's look up again. I want you to start breathing in deep through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, breathing in, just getting calm. Like, do it with me. Take a deep breath. Breathe in all the way. When you take a deep breath like that, it's like the weight of the world just kind of being released off your shoulders. So I get him calm again, because when he's rewatching this, if he's anything like me, which apparently he is, then this shit is still triggering him a little bit. So we watch it 2 more times, and then I put him through a breathing session again, and then we watch it 1 more time. And then after he came out of the session, he said, dude, it felt like I was like on drugs. Like, he was prescribed something for ADD. I don't remember what it was exactly. He took it in school, and he said it felt like that. My focus was intense. And if I do a hypnosis session right, you should feel a narcotic feeling. And he's like, dude, I could forecast the trade. Everything I was looking just fit in the way I analyzed the market. Like, I was present with the market. This is his words. And I saw a short. It was actually a good short. And I hadn't traded with him since, because he's busy with work. Today, he brought that to the session and crushed it. Which is shits on the coffee, by the way. So we know this works. We know conservative trading works. Now, here's what doesn't work. Let's go to the extreme. Contentment with P&L. Him almost passing the combine, or the tryout, I should say, fucks with him. We're about to get funded. He's going to trade live money. It fucks with him. And it goes from one day to the next. Taking 2 losses in a row triggers him. Aggressive trades. We saw statistically that does not work. I actually talked to one of his trading partners named Yuki, who sits with him a lot. This is a trader that wants to get on my desk. He's in the backup wave 2 for prop. I asked him, hey, does 2 or more losses in a row trigger chronic? And he said, yeah, it looks like that. And then I talked to Chronic about it, and he says, yeah, it does. Sharp moves trigger him. Sharp down moves trigger him. For some reason, he just gets FOMO and wants to long that shit. And he's more long biased, by the way. And he's too zoomed in on price action. So I put together a hypnosis session, possible solution. So I put together a 27-minute hypnosis session he listens to every night or when he can. Sometimes he'll listen to it in the morning, which is fine. That's his MO. But what was interesting about his shorts, let's look at his longs versus his shorts. So we just come in here, we put direction, long, and then we'll come in here and we'll go direction, short. Look how well his, let me remove this shit here. Look how well his shorts perform. And he's taking mostly longs. 105 longs over 74. Oh, that's win-loss, my bad. His long shorts are here. 129 longs over 50 shorts. So he actually does perform really well with shorts. But he's not taking enough of them because he feels like he's a long trader. And it has to do with these sharp moves downward. But just a sudden puke triggers them to go long. So we've done a lot of work with this. 2 zoomed into price action. One thing we've done is with Sierra charts, you can actually share charts now, which is pretty fucking cool. And when I draw on my charts, it shows up on his screen. We did that today, so I'm drawing shit out and narrating. I'm like, look here, this is what's happening here and here. Again, that's in the coffee episode. And for today, which is March 19th, 2025. And he said it was very helpful because he wants to trade my system 100%, which our MOs are pretty similar, so it would make sense that it could work for him. So my question is, should I do a live hypnosis, a nightly hypnosis, which I did not draw the arrow to, or a pre-market hypnosis? So I'm trying to figure out which one of these. Right now we're doing the nightlies. And then finally, I'm not sure, concerns, is drilling working for him? We do drills randomly. Well, turns out that's his MO, so let's continue to do it. Is trading with me working? Because he does forget prior context. He forgets certain things I tell him. And I don't know if I'm like over-managing him, because I don't want to over-manage him. I don't want to under-manage him either. I need to figure out where I need to be involved with him, but he needs to make his own decisions. And which today, he took trades in like the same spots as me, which was great. Like I'm already like getting into a trade and he goes, I think we need to go long here. I go, all right, do it. Because sometimes I'll keep him out of bad trades. So we're going to continue to do this. It seems like that might work. But the reason I question this is because there were sessions where I was reading the price action and he just wasn't doing good. He's also not totally honest about his emotions, or he's unaware. So there's times where he's upset, but he's not telling me because he just forgets, or he's not sure if it's really a problem. Does me calling a trade affect him? Hey, I'm long here. Does that fuck with him? Because sometimes that fucks with traders. And does my calmness transfer if I start to get upset? Because there was a session where I was fighting and I felt like that energy transferred to him. So I want to know is like, does me getting worked up a little bit fuck with him? After yesterday, I really studied this MO stuff. And today, obviously, we had a good win rate, which won't be every session. So what I decided to lean into, because he's really big into tools, I'm a 4 here, so I'm on the cusp of imagination. He's a 6, so he's on the cusp of demonstration, so building tools. So these things over here on the right are going to say the same thing as mine. first process, he's like analyzing like I do. So the way we're analyzing the trades, it's really similar. However, I'm here. I'm a 6, so I'm more risk-seeking than him. He's a 5, so he's perfectly balanced. He's going to go for risk when he needs to, and he's going to pull back when he has to. So that's really good characteristic to see in a trader, in my opinion. We'll see what the MO is on other traders, which I'll share in future videos. That's why this video is important, so that way you guys can get an idea of what this shit even means. So, you know, where I'm responding quickly to changes in the market, I'm making adjustments on the fly, I can handle last minute changes or seek alternatives, I can mediate risk. That's my second step in a trade process. For him, he needs like tooling. He's a modifier. I felt that using Sierra charts and drawing tools, I told him, draw on your charts, be as technical as possible. Draw, draw, draw. And then I'm drawing on my charts, I'm breaking shit down. And I think that really helped. I wanted to lean into his MO. And then, yeah, it just worked. And then finally, he's a 2 here. I'm a 3. So I'm just able to almost maintain between having a system and sticking to rigid routines, but I'm not quite there. And he's a 2, so he's a step behind me. So I said, hey, we're going to review. Because after the trade session, I'm like, we're going to review, but I want to go to the store. And he's like, okay, I want to go work out. I'm like, good, go work out. I want him to just do things as they arise, randomness. I want to interrupt him. I want to not have a rigid routine. I want to be like, hey, let's do this now. Let's do this now. And he's very flexible because he's good with random approaches, dealing with tasks as they arise, and pursuing multiple projects. So as I hit him up, hey, I need you now. Hey, let's do this now. Hey, and just keeping it random and just sticking to my own personal MO helps, which is interesting because like he started telling me like, hey, I always cook for my wife and he goes, I always have to immediately clean the kitchen after. And my wife's always like, hey, you want to come finish the movie first? And he's like, no, I can't. I have to clean now. Otherwise I won't do it. Because his follow through is shit, just like mine. So if you take this test, again, hopefully I'm an affiliate as of now. Check in the description if you're watching this on the day of. Check a few days later. I'm gonna have a meeting with them tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have the link for this. If you're interested in this test, it's pretty sick. My trading Discord opens up April 1st for the entire April session. And if you have your scores, bring them into the fucking Discord. Bring them into the Discord. Share it with me. I'm very fucking interested in this shit. And I'll give you some feedback on your scores. Or you can reach out to me on Twitter anytime at FeelFatCat1. Share your score with me. And I'll be happy to look at it because I want to understand like this better so I can better work with traders and coach traders instead of being too specific with certain traders. I need to dial it back in, which I'll be experimenting with this YouTube channel. I'm going to probably get back into doing shorter videos, YouTube shorts, to where I bullet point stuff so I can cater to this crowd. Plus, I'd like to sell more Tradecraft because it's a great software. But hey, this is another job. I'm bringing you badass value. And if a badass software works for you, then I'm getting paid on that shit. I'm going to want to keep making good content like this, okay? It's the circle of life. Alrighty, guys. Tarukin dipped out on me for most of the show, which is unusual behavior. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like the video if you did. Subscribe. And until then, I will see you in the next one.